Today we're studying Kimmy Cantrell. Cantrell is an African-American artist born in 1957. In high school, he fell in love with clay during an art class. Though Cantrell did not study art in college, he came back to it more than 20 years later. He uses asymmetry to challenge the traditional definitions of beauty. I want to show the beauty within the flaws, he explains. Imperfections tell stories that are far more compelling than perfection. He is a contemporary artist and he lives and creates in South Georgia. So you may be saying, asymmetrical, what does that mean? Well, he creates these asymmetrical faces. A lot of his work are these faces or almost like masks. So our faces are pretty symmetrical. What happens on one side usually happens on the other. Now in Cantrell's faces, the left side and the right side do not match. The eyes are different heights, there's different patterns on the face, the lips are not always centered, the nose is different. So he uses asymmetry. So the left side is always very different than the right side. And he's also using very simple shapes to create the features of the face. See what shapes you can pick out on the face. You see an oval? Do you see a rectangle? Do you see a trapezoid? What shapes do you see? And what shapes could we use to create our own Cantrell-inspired masks? So we are going to create a face, or kind of like a mask, inspired by Kimmy Cantrell's work that we just learned about. So in your folder, you have a piece of tag board that looks like this, and there is an outline. You probably have a different shape than your friends, okay? Because I wanted to give a bunch of different shapes out. If you're at home, you don't have this, what you can do, if you want to make it a little stiff, cutting from a cereal box works, and you can pick one of the, simple shapes that Mr. Cantrell uses and cut it out, or have mom and dad help you with that part. So I am just, all the shape faces were rough cut, and then you guys can do the detail cutting. And this is going to be the base for our face. Okay, so most likely the smaller part, this is going to be the chin, and this is going to be the top of the face. You also have a bunch of small pieces of paper, and these we are going to cut and add the parts to our face. So I'm going to start down here. I never start down here, so why not? And we're gonna do the mouth first. So simple shapes. First of all, see how big you need to make it. Okay, so I'm not gonna make it any bigger than that. So first off, I'm gonna do a trapezoid for the top of the mouth, and then maybe I'll do a more dramatic piece using a zigzag line for the top. All right, so now I'm just gonna cut out these pieces for the mouth. Okay, we got the top of the mouth. All right, now I've got the bottom of the mouth. All right, so now that I've got that cut out, I can glue them down. But one thing I want to point out, I drew on this side. I always want to put the glue on the side that I drew on. So that makes your artwork look nice and neat. All right, so let's see, there's my pencil marks. So I want to put glue on the side with my pencil marks. All right. So I'm gonna line that up a little bit better. All right, so there I have my mouth for my face. All right, and you don't have to use red. You could use a totally different color. It's probably just out of habit that I used red. All right, next up, a nose. Let's see. All right, so a lot of his noses are like a rectangle coming down and then like a rectangle going this way. And his stuff is definitely not perfect geometric shapes. I'm gonna point it a little bit there, change it at the end. So I'm going to cut this out. Okay, so again, I want to make sure that I'm putting the glue on this side, the side with my pencil marks, because that makes it nice and neat. Okay. Don't worry about that extra glue there. That'll go away. Another little funny thing that he adds a lot to the nose is he does like a little circle for the nostril. So I'm gonna take some white paper and I'm gonna cut a circle. Add that to my nose. All right, next up, I am gonna start doing some eyes. And they don't have to both be the same color at all. So let's see, maybe I'm gonna use these two. And I'm gonna do like a big oval. And this one, and I'm going to do more of a trapezoid. They of course can be two different sizes. You saw his work. It's kind of, everything is a little bit different. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut these out. And this is just step one of the eyes. Okay. And mine are going to be a little asymmetrical. One's going to be higher than the other. Next up, I want to put some white inside the eye. So I'm just going to trace the outer part that I did. Whoops, and I wish I had flipped this over because now I got a pencil mark on there. Okay, so I've got that piece, and I'm gonna do this one too. All right, now they can't be the same size, so I'm just gonna go back through and see, now I know it can't be bigger than that, so I'm just gonna, okay. And then I'm gonna cut out the smaller one on each. so now I have my 2 pieces. All right, and same thing as before. You want to put the glue on the pencil side for both of those pieces. But we're not quite done yet because we need an iris in there. So I'm going to add that blue piece there. I'm going to add that blue piece there. So now I have these triple stacked eyes that I can start gluing together. And I'm going to glue the iris part down first. Again, yours should not look like mine. Be inspired by Kim Cantrell's work. Use the same techniques I'm using, but make the shapes your own. You want to do square eyes? That's cool. You want to do, you know, more of a triangle shape. All right, so now I've got my eyes layered, and now I can glue it down to my base. And don't be afraid to have stuff like sticking out from the base. He does that a lot in his work. Okay. And I just don't like the way this turned out, so I'm gonna snip it one more time. All right, again, I'm always putting glue on the side with the pencil. So side with the pencil, glue. All right, so now I have my basics of my face, my eyes, my nose, my mouth. This is where you can start to add some more fun things to this. First off being eyebrows, if you want to add an eyebrow. Okay, so I'm going to add an eyebrow here. Next up, I'm going to add some eyelashes. Okay, so I've got some thick shapes here. And I'm gonna go with the asymmetrical thing, which means what happens on the right side doesn't have to happen on the left side. It can be different. All right. Whoop. Okay, so now I've got some eyelashes and an eyebrow. We got the nose, we got the mouth. And here you could also add like some hair or a crown type thing coming off of your head. And for that, I'm gonna glue on the back. So I'm gonna so I've got 3 loops like that. You could also do, you know, like a squared off shape if you wanted to do that. I'm I'm gonna use this shape. So here's where it's going to get a little confusing because we're going to break our rules because we don't want to see the pencil lines. But we're going to put the glue along the top of our head here. And since they're going to be showing through the other side, we want our pencil lines to be on the back side. Okay. My 3 shapes. Let's take a look and see what that looks like. Oh, except for I had drawn on the other side of that paper. Whoops, well, we all make mistakes, and that's what erasers are for. Okay. All right, now you have the base of your head. Once you have gotten this far, I want you to put all your leftover scrap papers in your folder with your mask. And next week, we're gonna add some details in oil pastel and, like color the base of the face and stuff, okay?